Hi, this is Maggie. I wanted to talk about Mercury, the planet Mercury today, through the signs. It's the ruler of both Gemini. It's the planet of communication. Um, so where Mercury is, it's how you communicate according to which house and sign it's in. Um, so it's a joint ruler of both of Gemini and Virgo. So um, mutable signs. So I'll start with Mercury in the first house. Mercury transits about every 6 weeks, when it goes retrograde, which means it's just time to reflect and go over some things that, need to be gone over, Electronics sometimes go kind of whack. But anyway, it generally transits about 6 weeks. So starting with the first house, or Aries, it would be direct communication, because Aries is a fire sign, and it would be in your house of self and personality. So your personality style of communication would be very direct and, a little blunt. Maybe like to spar a little bit, because the ruler of Aries is Mars. So, or you could present just a great argument or case because your powers of communication would be very, very strong. And yeah, anything in the communication field would probably come naturally to you, because you would be very adept at it. Just I would watch perhaps arguing, or just because you can win with your skill, having Mercury in your first house, you would probably know or use your skill in communicating to win arguments. So anyway, you would be very direct and blunt and to the point, which Aries are, and I appreciate that. To have Mercury in the second house, or Taurus, Taurus rules the throat. So to have Mercury in Taurus could make you a beautiful singer, because it rules the voice. A lot of singers and musicians, wonderful singers, have Venus in Taurus, or something in Taurus, because it does rule the throat. So your voice would perhaps be pleasant, or your communication could be well, it could be about material assets or money or values. You could communicate about the things that you value, maybe in some money capacity. You probably make a great broker, stockbroker. Yeah, or you could just, second house, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So having Mercury there could make you communicate about the Venusian things, like singing, or anything ruled by Venus. But also, it would be communication about your assets or things you value, material things, because Taurus is an earth sign, and the second house is your money house, money and assets. But again, it could make you a very good singer or writer, perhaps songwriter, poet. The third house is Mercury's ruler, Gemini. Third house, third house of Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini, so it feels very at home in the third house, which is the sign and planet of communication. So to have your ruler, Gemini, to have your ruler in your sign in the third house would make you just Geminis are so great at communication anyway, but it would just, it's a mutable sign, and it would just make you very, very quick, extremely quick in all facets of communication. You would have one up on everyone else when it comes, say another Gemini without their ruling Mercury in their sign, you could one up them. Or it would just give you more power, to have your ruler in your sign. It always gives you more more emphasis on your sign. So it would give you extra skill in communication. So you would use that to your advantage, and it would you would be extremely skillful in communication. You know, whichever way you choose to use it, you would be just a master at it. Um, so it's very beneficial. It could be very beneficial. You know, you could be a great mediator. You know, attorney, teacher, whatever, whichever way you choose to use your Mercury, but it would be very, very powerful. Very powerful. And you would be excellent linguist if you wanted to, like, be a translator, different languages, multicultural linguist or something like that. You would be very good at it. So Mercury in your fourth house would be communication about feelings, because it's a water sign and it's Cancer sign. So Mercury in Cancer, or in the fourth house, would be the home, family, the home feelings and emotions and nurturing. So your feelings would be, your feelings are very sensitive, and you know, Cancerians can be very nurturing. They can be very sensitive as well. So your Mercury, you would talk about feelings a lot, or you perhaps would be very nurturing in your communication with others. You would communicate very well, especially in the home, or maybe with your mother. You might have, or children. You might have a good flow of communication, depending on, you know, how Mercury is presented in your chart. So, but your communication would be colored emotional and sensitive, because it's a water sign, and intuitive, very intuitive as well, because water signs are all those three things. Excuse me. Mercury in fifth house, in Leo's house, would make you very dramatic and fiery. It's a fire sign. The fifth house is Leo, fixed fire, Leo's house. So it rules like love affairs, children, you know, the drama, leadership. It could make you communicate as a leader in certain situations. You could step up and communicate as a leader. Also, it could give you a theatrical flair for, you know, writing, theater, just anything in the arts, or any self-expression would just flow with you, because you have Mercury, the ruler of communication, in your fifth house. So any communication about yourself and self-expression would really enhance that, and you would come across very clear and very much you, and it would be a fiery delivery, you know, and say you were doing a poetry slam, you know, your delivery would be great. So, and it would be direct and blunt again, because it's a fire sign, and they usually get to the point. However, Leo can sometimes be long-winded, because they do like to tell their stories. So it would be a great storyteller. In the sixth house, Virgo, sixth house or Virgo, Mercury rules Virgo as well as Gemini. So it's fixed, it's immutable as well, sorry. And so Mercury would make you extremely analytical. Attention to detail, which Virgos have anyway, would be very precise. It would be excellent for any sort of analytical, you know, math skills, or chemistry, or, you know, physics, you know, anything where you use your brain, you know, to think and to communicate and talk things through. And they're so analytical and fast that, you know, they're just, their ideas are so fast, they just, you know, they just come way ahead. Sometimes they get ahead of themselves with just spouting off all their ideas because there are so many of them with Mercury there. Because um, Virgos are just so fluent in ideas anyway, and in critical thinking skills, analytical skills. So it would also be great for Virgo rules work and health. So, and the sixth house is your work and health. So it would be you know, maybe work through some communication skill, or using communication through your work or career, or communicating in the health field. So it could be any kind of a health or healing field, you know, massage therapy, or you know, just whatever it may be, medical field, healing arts, yeah, anything in the health field. Let's see, in the seventh house, it's personal relationships. So you would always be talking about personal relationships. It's the seventh house is Libra's house. It's the house of personal relationships, partnerships. Eighth house is joint partnerships, but the seventh house is all about personal relationships. And so you, with Mercury there, the planet, communication planet, you would be a very good communicator, which is important. If you're going to have a relationship with someone, communication is key. So you would talk a lot, you know. You would talk a lot and want to talk things out, and want to talk the relationship out all the time, and you know, like that Chris Isaak song, you know, talk. It's like, I didn't hear you talking or something. But anyway, yeah, so it could really enhance your relationship because you have the communication skills. Or you could probably make an excellent therapist, listening and dialoguing, marriage, and couples counseling would be very beneficial with that placement. Or just to work on your own relationships. But you know, communication is key in relationships, so that's a very, very good factor in the seventh house of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus, so it could be very beneficial. Yeah, it could also just benefit. Just any kind of a partnership you're in. I was just thinking of, you know, if you were in, say, in a recording career or something, you could produce beautiful music together with your partner, you know. Not necessarily a romantic partner, but more than likely, you know, it could be. So the eighth house is Scorpio's house. To have Mercury in the eighth house or Scorpio would be communication. It's a fixed water house, so it would be communication on a very deep level. You know, there would be an interest probably in, you know, occult or metaphysical, just deeper things. You want to know why. You want to figure out why, or what is the mystery, or just dig deep to find the mystery and just not satisfied with status quo answers. And the feelings would have a lot of depth, and you would probably talk and communicate about feelings about. Well, it is a water sign, so yeah, it would be feelings, and they would run very, very deep, and you would communicate about them, and that could be beneficial in a relationship. It's also joint assets, so communicating about, you know, family or joint assets. You know, could be one way that it presents, you know, to use the Mercury. You could always be hearing about just joint financial matters in one form or another, you know, because it's the planet of hearing and talking and communicating, so you could hear. And also brothers and sisters, maybe communicating about or cousins, you know. Yeah, hearing about short trips, you know, to your cousins, and, because it rules all those things as well. Mercury generally is short trips, and Jupiter is long trips. So, but it would give you sensitivity in communicating about your feelings, like Cancer, because it's a water sign. Oh, and intuition, very strong intuition as well, because it's deep water. Mercury in the ninth house would be talk about travel, talk about higher ideals, because it's Sagittarius's house and Sagittarius's sign. So to have Mercury there, it would be communication about, it could be law, teaching, higher ideals, having vision and foresight about the future, talking about future plans, future trips, getting excited about those, talking could make you also a very good linguist, because it's opposed to, it's like the dual opposite sign of Gemini. So it's mutable Sagittarius. So traveling, communication, and languages would be beneficial for you as well, because Jupiter rules your sign, and that's rules traveling. Well, it rules Sagittarius rather, and so higher values, theological ideas, higher ideas would interest you. Teaching, law, perhaps multicultural travel industry. So in the 10th house, to have Mercury in the 10th house, that's your career in your midheaven. The 10th house is Capricorn. So if you have Mercury in the 10th house or Capricorn, and it would be on the midheaven, would be a career in communication, most definitely. Which career you choose, there's so many different careers in communication. You could just, look them up, but you would be very skilled, at computer graphics, or whichever way you choose to use it. Maybe doing mixes, or, DJ or whatever. You would be very, very skilled in using your Mercury for a communication career. That would be your beneficial career. Mercury in the 11th house is hopes and wishes and friendships, or Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius it's an air sign. So it would be, air signs are very, very mental and idea people anyway, because they're ruled by air, and so they're very quick-witted and fast-talking anyway, as a rule. And to have Mercury there would enhance that. So your communication would just, Aquarians have so many friends anyway, so it would really enhance the communication with all kinds of acquaintances, and just your scope would be a lot broader than normally, and it could also give interest in just different ideas, maybe more inventive or creative. Uranus rules astrology, so it could be communication about astrology, or just any sort of inventive, unusual idea. It could make you very gifted as well, but very great with friendships. Very great with friendships. You would attract a lot of friends and be a good friend as well. And humanitarian, you could run a humanitarian group, because Aquarius and the 11th house rules groups. So it's, air on air in a way, because Mercury rules an air planet, Gemini, and it's trying to Aquarius air. So the 12th house, to have Mercury in your 12th house, your communication also would be about feelings, along with Scorpio and Cancer. It would complete the water trine, and you would be very, very sensitive and intuitive, and able to communicate that to others, and to bring it to a higher level. So you would be very adept at that, bringing the unconscious to the conscious, and being able to to explain or to to validate and talk about your intuitions, which, it's good to have the verbal skills along with the intuition. So that is a good placement as well. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this on Mercury, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Thank you.